Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of April 4th, 2013. My name is Robert Petrone, and I'm the chairperson of the commission. Planning Commission is a citizen body appointed by the City Council. The commission is empowered to make final decisions on certain matters, with those being appealable to the City Council. On other matters, the commission acts in an advisory role to the council, with the council making the final decision. You will have an opportunity to address the commission during the public hearing portion of the meeting. Your testimony is appreciated and encouraged. The commission acts from a written agenda. You will need to fill out a yellow speaker card and give it to city staff if you wish to speak on an item. Copies of the agenda and the speaker cards are located on the table just inside the main door to council chambers. There are 7 members of the Planning Commission. Present tonight are from the Cactus District, Commissioner Johnston, the mayoral appointee and vice chair, Commissioner Larson, from the Ocotillo District, Commissioner Williams, from the Beryl District, Commissioner Lennox, from the Yucca District, Commissioner Aldama, noting that Commissioner Pilnella is not present this evening. The Planning Commission receives staff assistance and guidance from the Planning Division and the City Attorney's Office. Mr. Froke, would you please introduce the city staff who are present this evening?
My pleasure. Commission and Chairman, excuse me. Recording our public hearing tonight is Diana Figueroa. She's across the dais from me. To her left is Martin Martell. I'd like to introduce him to the Planning Commission. Martin works with us Wednesday through Friday and is a welcome addition to the Planning Division, so we appreciate him. Presenting the one item tonight is, to my right, Remigio Cordero. He's a planner. To my left, providing legal support, is Debbie Robertson from the City Attorney's Office. And my name is John Froke, and I'm the city's planning director.
Thank you, Mr. Froke.
Thank you.
Now, on to the approval of minutes, and assuming that all members of the commission have read the minutes of the March 7th, 2013 Planning Commission regular meeting, I am looking for a motion to approve those minutes.
So move.
Second.
And I have a movement and second, and we will now vote on that measure. Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Larson?
Aye.
Commissioner Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennox?
Aye.
Commissioner Aldama?
Aye.
It's unanimous, and the minutes have been approved. Mr. Froke, are there any withdrawals or continuances this evening?
Chairman, there are none tonight. Thank you.
We'll move on to the public hearing items. The purpose of the public hearing is to provide interested parties an opportunity to present testimony for the Commission's consideration. We will follow the same procedures for each item. I will call the application number and the name of the applicant. Staff will present their report and answer questions from the Commission. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation and answer questions from Commission. Other persons who wish to testify will be asked to do so and answer questions from the Commission. The applicant will have an opportunity for closing comments. Staff will be asked for any final comments on the application and procedural guidance. I will then close the public hearing and ask for a motion prior to discussion. You will need to state your name and address for the record if you wish to speak on an item. Please be brief and to the point and to avoid repetition. I reserve the right to limit the length of your testimony. All exhibits shown to the Commission become part of the permanent record and submitted for the file. Large groups should designate a spokesperson. Applause or other disruptions what might delay the hearing will not be tolerated. We have one public hearing item this evening, and that is agenda case number CUP 1301, and presenting will be Mr. Cordero.
Thank you, Chairman Petrone. Good evening, Chairman Petrone and members of the Commission. Case CUP 1301 is a request by the applicant, Ali Faki, with SEG representing Fry's Food and Drug Stores for a conditional use permit to allow convenience use in the C2 General Commercial Zoning District for the property located at 5116 West Olive Avenue. The property is located west of the northwest corner of 51st and Olive Avenues and is at approximately 24,770 square feet in size. Fry's is proposing to construct a 5,418 square foot gas canopy and a 176 square foot pay kiosk that will be integrated within an existing shopping center parking lot. The project will be designed with an architecturally integrated canopy and kiosk that captures the redesign of the existing shopping center development. Fuel center operation hours will be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with an attendant on site from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. only. Hours between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. will be for card transactions only. Customers will be able to pay at the fuel pump with a credit card or debit card during these hours only. The site will be configured to accommodate adequate vehicular circulation that will coalesce with the existing shopping center. Vehicular access to this project will be provided through one main driveway entering off of major arterial, which is Olive Avenue. And this project can also be accessible through the parking lot, which has another access points off of 51st Avenue. The surrounding land uses in this area are commercial, considering this project is within a commercial pad of a shopping center. On February 4, 2013, the applicant mailed 113 notification letters to the adjacent property owners and interested parties. Neither the applicant nor the planning department received any response regarding the request. The planning department did receive, however, 2 additional phone calls regarding the request after the notification postcards were mailed and the site was posted. One resident on 51st Avenue in Peoria that lives at 51st Avenue, Peoria, saw that the posting sign stated that saw the posting sign, and he stated that they were against fuel. He was against fuel centers and how fuel centers are harmful for the environment. The other resident that lives adjacent to this site was concerned with the amount of traffic this use would generate. With regards to the findings for CUP, the proposed convenience use is consistent with the policies of the general plan and the purpose of the C2 zoning district. Convenience uses are permitted in this zoning district subject to CUP approval. Approval of the CUP request will not have an adverse effect on the adjacent properties or the surrounding neighborhood. The fuel center will be located within an existing shopping center on a pad site. The proposed use is proposed to be located a significant distance from the nearest residential use. The project site is 24,000 square feet, 24,770 square feet in size, and provides ample room for the gas canopy and fuel station kiosk. The site will continue to provide adequate parking for customers that frequent the shopping center, as well as those that enter the fuel center. The site plan depicts a main access drive from a major arterial, which is Olive Avenue. As stated before, there will be 2 additional access points from the interior drive aisles that will ensure proper circulation for vehicles looking to exit onto 51st Avenue. All applicable city departments have reviewed the application and have recommended approval of this application. In conclusion, the request appears to meet the required findings for a conditional use permit and should be approved subject to the following stipulation listed in the staff report. Chairman Patron and members of the commission, this concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Cordero. Any questions for Mr. Cordero? Mr. Larson.
Yes, Chairman Patron and Mr. Cordero. I noticed that you said that all of the different agencies or the different departments have looked at this and that the access also off of Olive Avenue. I noticed there's no right turn lane for this. Was it determined there was not the volume or the need to add a right turn lane to access this?
Chairman Patron, Vice Chair Larson, after discussing this with the transportation department, our transportation engineer looked at this site thoroughly, and he thought this use did not warranted a right turn lane.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mr. Cordero?
Chairman, if I may. Mr. Cordero, could you tell me what, or describe a shared driveway? What is that exactly?
Chairman Patron, Commissioner Aldama, the shared driveway, as you see in the site plan before you, is a driveway that is shared between all the tenants in the shopping center. As you see here, the shopping center on 51st Avenue and Olive Avenue, there are several driveways throughout between there that these tenants will use. The only pad site that does not have access to this site is that those tenant suites that are immediately east of this proposed project.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, Mr. Cordero.
You're welcome.
Would the applicant or applicant's representative please come forward, state your name for the record, and make your presentation?
Good evening, Chairman Patron, members of the commission. My name is Jeffrey Guyette with Fry's Food and Drug Store, 500 South 99th Avenue, Tucson, Arizona. Fry's, as you know, is trying to maintain viability in our shopping centers with the enhanced competition that has come into the market in different locations. We're trying to accommodate our customers with the convenience of building fuel centers at all of our locations. At this location, it formerly was a McDonald's, as you're probably all familiar with, which is more of a use that people would travel to that location or that destination. The use of our facility for fuel is mainly for our customers to be able to redeem their rewards that are in our center or shop our existing center. So it's more of a convenience use for people that are already in the shopping center. It was an existing pad, and we're looking at developing it and enhancing the shopping center with the development rather than just having a dirt pad sitting out there that we have to worry about and people have to maintain. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, any question? I have one. These fuel centers actually represent a pretty good savings in terms of incentives, purchase incentives through the Fry's use of the Fry's card. Do they not?
You can receive up to $1 off per gallon, sir.
Which could end up being 15 to 20, 25 gallons on a typical fill-up of somebody that had earned that max.
My wife drives a Tahoe, so I completely understand what you're speaking of.
Exactly. And I guess my next question is, this would be a real benefit to somebody in that neighborhood. I don't see this just as, obviously there's a profit motive for Fry's, but there's also a convenience method there too, isn't there? This is something you've offered and you made a commitment to, and you've given people a card with a benefit.
Well, it saves people a lot of time and money. It allows mothers with children to be able to do a one-stop shop, to be able to get their groceries and then be able to stop for gas and be able to pick their kids up or get their prescriptions. It is really a convenience. And Fry's does give back to the communities in everything that we do. So it is a cost savings and would be a benefit to people that shop our stores to be able to help them save money and the residents of the community save money on fuel as well.
Right. So the other alternative is you'd earn your benefits there, but you'd have to drive to another neighborhood in order to cash in the benefit at another Fry's Fuel Saver, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Or maybe a Circle K, I think, or something.
Correct.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you so much. I've received a speaker card. Would Mr. Welling please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record?
Council members. My name is Richard Welling. I live at 9040 North 51st Lane, which is just adjacent to the Fry's complex. So I know the area quite well. What I would like to start out with is the aerial photo that you have up there is really old. It is not a dirt field anymore. There's a drugstore in there and Walmart. So ever since that was put in there, the traffic that Olive carries now, which is a throughway all the way from the east to the west side. They don't have to stop at Grand anymore. They just go right up over and go. It's a really busy intersection. We've had a lot of accidents on 51st and Olive. Now we're starting to have accidents in front of the Fry's Walmart's complex. I don't have the statistics how many additional accidents there was off of there. This is something that I looked at and thought I'm going to speak. So with that, I am a customer of Fry's, and I do buy my gas at Fry's, so I'm not opposed to Fry's. But what I am opposing about is the plans that are being drawn out here, and that's with the in and out driveway. It's the first driveway going west on Olive Avenue. If we had the Walmart exit in and exit, you would see that the two joined face to face. There's plenty of room for vehicles to make a left turn, which I've seen them all the time, and cars coming in to the right turn to turn into Fry's. Well, it's getting really busy. And since I do live right next door, I've had a couple really close calls out there. May have been in the morning, in the evening. It's mostly in the evening where people get in the dead man's in the center lane, and they're not watching the traffic that's in front of them, and they're bailing down through there. And I was sitting out there. Yes, it scared. It scared me. The second time, I just went, you know what? Just better watch out for Walmart customers. What I do on the site plans, what I would be, this is my suggestion, is that we have a bus pull out right after 51st heading west, and that would be to extend that pull out to make a right turn only lane and close off the driveway that exists at the present time. Not the second driveway, but just the first one. That would eliminate people wanting to turn, wants to go across all three lanes and make a left-hand turn to be heading east. I would feel that it was a lot safer. I mean, that's because I walked back and forth to that store. I watch traffic and I drive there, and people goes left and right, and like it's busy. Okay, let's repeat. I'm sorry. And the next thing I'm objecting about is the number of pumps. And the number of pumps, what they're requesting, they're going to be able to service 14 vehicles at one time. Now that also puts a lot of traffic in that area. I don't know if you've been to any of the Fry's fueling centers. They're very popular. There's times vehicles back up, just waiting to fuel up. So here you have a parking lot now with 14 vehicles pumping and another 14 waiting to, I know this is a little extreme, but 14 more getting ready to pump. So now we have a lot of congestion. I've seen this at the Fry's Shopping Center on 43rd and Northern, and I've seen the same thing in 43rd and Cactus. My suggestion is to cut back on the pumps. Even if they cut it back down to where they can service 12 vehicles, that would be the same thing that they have on 43rd and Northern, which they just completed, what, a year ago? Something like that. And that's as much as I put together. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Welling. Would you like to, is there any questions for Mr. Welling?
I've got a question for him.
Mr. Lennox?
If memory serves me right, there's a center island that runs east to west on Northern, so they couldn't be able to cut across all the traffic without driving over the humps.
Yes, you can. You need to walk there. I went the other night, and in fact, I did try to put something together where from the center lane where you're saying that concrete abutment is, there is 15 feet from the abutment to the drive-in. So there's 15 feet of vehicle you can get through there easily. And I've seen it done. They don't have to turn. They don't have to turn on Olive. All they have to do is cut right across, and they have room enough to turn, so they can head east.
I'll have to look at that. I don't, because I shop at that Fry's as well, and I know that that one driveway, it's right about where that cement embankment is, or the little hump. So you'd have to cut across almost at an angle to get it.
That's not what I see, sir.
Okay. And so,
And I don't drive. I mean, I walk there and see it.
Well, fortunately, that's not a subjective issue. It's an
Yeah.
objective issue, and it can be verified. So.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Welling? I just had one note. I was wondering if you thought 12 pumps, if you thought 14 pumps would create too long a wait.
14 vehicles.
Well, how many pumps?
Yeah. That's 7 pumps.
Oh, yeah, one to each side. I guess my point was, why would reducing the amount of pumps reduce the traffic? It would seem like it would increase it because you'd be waiting longer.
Just one other additional, I don't see any reason for 14. We have a gas station 1 mile south, on 43rd, we have a mile each way. We have a gas station right across the way that also accepts our Fry card for discount. I'm not totally against the station itself.
No, I appreciate.
Just
I know
the
what your
mainframe.
concerns are, and I appreciate them very much. And you for taking the time to come here and present them to us. I thank you again, Mr. Welling, on behalf of the commission and the city. Any other questions for Mr. Welling? Okay. I
Okay.
don't see any
Thank
other
you.
speakers or any other speaker cards. Would you like to address anything, by the way? You're more than welcome to come up and speak again if you'd like to.
I would like to say that Fry's specifically worked with traffic and engineering to ensure that the city engineer was comfortable with the throat that we had into the shopping center, that there was a significant amount of distance that customers could be able to pull in before they made the turn into the fueling facility. Also, we worked with staff to design the shopping center and the fuel center area to where it would accommodate stacking of 3 vehicles on either side of the canopy if that was the case. The reason that we designed the fuel facility with 7 dispensers instead of a smaller 5 dispenser is so that customers don't have to wait, that there's not traffic sitting there trying to wait and congestion, which would cause more of a chance for an accident or something to happen. So we design these with our customers' safety and security in mind. Thank you.
Chairman, if I may.
Mr. Aldama.
Thank you, sir. Do all your Fry's have 7 pumps? It sounds like that some of them have 5. How do you determine which stations have the amount of pumps?
Well, 5 dispensers were built many years ago, back in approximately 2002, 2003. If a site is extremely limited and will only allow a 5 dispenser facility, that's when they were built. Now we're building at least a 7 dispenser facility to make sure that customers aren't waiting, that there's not any stacking. And in fact, there are some locations that we have bigger shopping centers or bigger sites like Saraville and Yuma. We built a 9 dispenser facility because it was a bigger shopping center. We had a bigger area, and we wanted to make sure that our customers are not waiting and that it's not an inconvenience for our customers. Because people, when you have to wait or you're sitting in line, it causes, as the gentleman mentioned, there would be a traffic backup. So you don't want a smaller facility where customers are having to wait or trying to maneuver around other people that are waiting in line. We try to design them. We do market research, to answer your question, to make sure that we design them with enough dispensers to where customers are happy and not waiting in line. Because if you have a mother with a crying baby that goes in to get milk or medicine and then comes out to get gas, and she has to sit and wait in line, it's no longer a convenience for our customer. And that's what we want to avoid. And that's why we design them the way that we do.
Thank you very much. This is a great opportunity that I see to revitalize that corner. It's been empty for the past 10 years. I think it's been empty since 2003. I think the community will appreciate that, that Fry's is coming through and doing something with that. And it also helps the community with fuel and gasoline. But I think this is a great opportunity. I do recognize the concerns of the individual who come up. However, I just feel this is a great opportunity to revitalize that corner. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Guyette. Are there any other further questions for Mr. Guyette? I know Commissioner Williams has a question.
Yeah, could staff, that's one site plan, the enlarged site plan. I don't know what number, I don't see a number on this. Could they pull that up where it shows the site and the entrances in and out of that facility, please?
Mr. Cordero will pull up that exhibit for you.
Well, that's not much clearer than it is in the book. But if you, the island in the center here, it shows that it is definitely east of the entrance. Is that the only entrance that's going to be going in? What's all this landscaping island that they show here, new landscape island?
Chairman Patron, Commissioner Williams, are you speaking of the island that's in Olive Avenue?
No, the island that's in the middle of the picture here, it shows the Olive Avenue where the left turn lane begins. Now, just north of there, there's this new landscape island.
Oh, okay. I see. Yes, that's an island that Mr. Guyette with Fry's discussed with the transportation engineer. About the transportation engineer made them increase that island to create to alleviate any stacking onto Olive Avenue. So when a potential customer's coming into Fry's and they pull off of Olive Avenue going northbound into that drive aisle, they have to go a significant distance before they take a right into the fuel, if they want to go to the fuel center first. That's what that new island was proposed for.
Okay, then the only entrance is really east of that new landscaping area where it says fire lane. Is that going to be the entrance right in there?
There will be two other entrances into this. There will be one where it depicts that you mentioned, Commissioner Williams, and then there will be two others that'll be on the interior side, just north of there, coming on the north. But from off of Olive Avenue, yes, that will be.
I'm talking about off of Olive. That will be the only entrance into the center. Is that one right there then?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. And that is to scale the location, so it's definitely west of where the island starts on Olive Avenue.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cordero. Any other questions for him? Thank you. Mr. Froke, are there any final comments or procedural guidance?
Yes, Chairman and Commission, thank you for this opportunity. We appreciate all the comments and the questions. We take pedestrian and vehicular safety very seriously in Glendale. The site immediately east of here used to be developed by, occupied by Mobil, and when ExxonMobil merged 8, 9, 10 years ago, Mobil left the Arizona market. It was an abandoned gas station. It was one of the old style gas stations from like the 1970s where it had 4 driveways, 2 on Olive, 2 on 51st Avenue. As part of our routine site plan review, through design review, we required the new developer, when they knocked down the Mobil gas station and built the retail store just east of the proposed Fry's facility, we had them close the 2 driveways closest to the intersection. So that eliminated and focused the access a little bit further away from the intersection of 51st and Olive. Furthermore, our transportation department, and Mr. Cordero touched on it, is recently completed a safety improvement project for the intersection wherein we did raised medians on all 4 legs of the intersection of 51st and Olive. So the elongated landscape median, it shows best probably on the exhibit behind you, Commissioners. The landscape island that runs north-south, as Mr. Cordero indicated, that pushes the vehicular traffic further away from Olive, so that at the point where a driver has to make a decision on where to turn left or right into the Fry's, they're making that decision I don't know, 50 feet away, 60, 75 feet away from Olive Avenue instead of immediately once they come off of Olive. So these are some of the techniques that we do from a site plan standpoint, where we're looking at driver behavior and traffic patterns and trying to improve things for pedestrian and vehicular flow.
Thank you, Mr. Froke. Are there any questions for Mr. Froke or staff while we're on this particular reassessment here? Good. This is going to close the public hearing for case number CUP 1301. It is now closed. Do I hear a motion regarding?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve whatever this number is. Subject,
CUP 1301?
yes, CUP 1301, subject to the stipulations.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second of that motion. Any further comments or discussion regarding this before we vote? Okay. I'm going to now conduct a roll call vote. Commissioner Johnston.
Aye.
Commissioner Larson.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennox.
Aye.
Commissioner Aldama.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Case number CUP 1301 has been recommended for approval, subject to stipulations as outlined by staff. Ms. Robertson, what are the next steps in the process?
Chairman and members of the commission, your vote tonight is final on this item unless an appeal is taken within 15 days of tonight's action, and an appeal must be filed in writing with the city.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson. Is there anyone in the audience that would wish to speak on an item tonight that's not on this evening's agenda? And because these items are not on the agenda, the commission cannot take action this evening. However, items can be added to a future agenda. Mr. Froke, are there any planning staff reports?
Chairman Patron, Commission, yes, just very briefly. Staff likes to provide an update on projects that either you have seen in past meetings or perhaps maybe even read about or gotten past reports from planning staff. There's some exciting new development projects that are underway in Glendale right now. The Arrowhead Women's Center is a new office building at the northeast corner of 64th and Union Hills Drive. That is a project that you would not have seen just because the property is already zoned. It's just south and east of the Arrowhead Hospital. It's a single-story wellness building that's presently under construction and will look really nice as part of our Union Hills Drive medical corridor. The Carmel Estates neighborhood at 54th Avenue and Skunk Creek went before the commission back in 2006 and was stalled with the Great Recession of a few years ago. That project is now resurfacing as a new subdivision plat. There's a new builder that owns, home builder that owns the property now. It's Mandalay Communities. They're doing some pretty extensive site work and some cleanup work north of Skunk Creek Channel, and hope to be building homes probably within less than a year, hopefully. Moving down into our industrial corridor, 51st Avenue, Missouri, on the southwest corner, there's a brand new industrial building called Performance Steel. Mr. Cordero actually worked on that as well. It's a long-time vacant property that was just basically used as open storage. This will be a much more productive use, bringing new jobs, new investment into Glendale in our industrial corridor. That project's also under construction. And then finally, there's an industrial park being built on the northeast corner of Pasadena and 51st Avenue within walking distance of Performance Steel. It's an industrial building that built in the early 70s. It's being rebirthed as a new, more state-of-the-art industrial building, landscaping provided where none exists. There's a driveway, much like what I described at 51st and Olive. There's a driveway right at 51st and Pasadena that will be closed just for safety purposes, permanently closed. So that'll be a nice addition for industrial users. And then finally, at the northeast corner of 59th Avenue and Camelback, the Grandview Plaza Shopping Center is also going through some significant work and upgrades to provide a more contemporary design. They're taking out a lot of asphalt and adding landscaping where none exist. I was by the site on Monday. It looks fantastic, and just wanted to provide a little update to the commission.
Thank you so much, Mr. Froak.
Thank you.
Are there any commission comments or suggestions? If none, I'll just like to add, I'd like to thank Mr. Welling for the time he took to come and out of a busy day and schedule and present his opinion to us. And the way you did it was very cordial and very gracious. And I can assure you it wasn't lost on us, and it was much appreciated. And your input is valued. It really is. Thank you so much for that. Being as there's no other business, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 We're adjourned.